Seoul, June 29, 2025. The sky didn't cry that day because even the clouds knew the night belonged to Jin. He didn't just return. He reshaped the stage into poetry, into a memoir, into a warm embrace for thousands of hearts that had been waiting in silence. And then, one by one, the stars came back. Jungkook appeared first, not as an idol, but as a younger brother who had found his home again in the spotlight of his young. His face lit up with laughter, as if time had never stolen a single day from their memories. Beside him, Jimin danced in the shadows, not on stage but among the seats of the audience, soaking in the music like a prayer that never ends. And Suga, oh, Suga laughed, a laughter that hadn't been seen in a long time. A laughter that heals. They didn't come to perform. They came to love. And that felt more powerful than any standing ovation. Meanwhile, Jin wasn't just performing. He was storytelling about wounds, about laughter, about RANJIN, which was no longer just a variety show but a lived experience. He revived his dream, dressed in the styles of Happy, Echo, and of course, RANJIN. Every detail of the concert felt like a fairy tale finally coming true. The lights, the costumes, the rhythm, woven together by one red thread, love for ARMY. And when Randy stepped onto the stage, the world held its breath for a moment. They didn't sing as two artists, but as two worlds that had finally met. Their voices echoed like spells, filling a void that even cameras couldn't capture. It wasn't just a duet. It was a rare phenomenon, like an eclipse that left no darkness, only beauty. ARMY cried. ARMY danced. ARMY sang. And Jin watched it all, smiling like a father who could finally say, "I'm home." That concert wasn't just sold out. It was soul-filled. Not just music but magic. Not just a stage but a harbor for all hearts that had ever lost their way. "Don't say you love me," he whispered in the final song. But maybe it wasn't rejection. Maybe it was longing, too afraid to hope. And ARMY, who always understands the unspoken, replied in silence. "We won't say it, Jin. But we will love you always." Jin, the storyteller, finally began his solo tour. But he didn't walk alone. He carried thousands of unread letters, hundreds of tear-filled nights, and a world he once nearly left behind, but that never stopped waiting for him. From Happy to Echo. From RUN SEOKJIN to RANJIN. From the military to dreams. This isn't about a comeback. This is about rebirth. The night had ended. One by one, the lights faded, like stars returning to the sky after lingering too long on Earth. But the story wasn't over, because after the cheers died down, silence began to speak. Backstage, Jin sat alone. No crown. No spotlight. Just himself and sweat that hadn't yet dried. His head was bowed, not from exhaustion, but from emotions he hadn't had the chance to release amidst the thunder of thousands of voices. Tears fell. But not dramatically. They fell like rain that slowly embraces the earth. Quiet, gentle, and only felt by those who truly paid attention. And someone was paying attention. Jungkook, in a gray hoodie and with eyes that hadn't known sleep since yesterday, stood in the side hallway. He didn't walk in. He didn't want to interrupt. But he was there, like a star unwilling to fall, yet unable to leave. Jimin came next. His steps were slow, his eyes swollen. As if there was a final song he never got the chance to finish singing. He looked at Jin from afar, then turned away. And in the corner of an empty room he cried. Not out of sadness, but because he knew, even happiness can hurt when it ends too soon. "Suga?" He returned to his empty seat, a faint smile on his lips, his fingers moving gently in the air. As if composing a new song, born from a moment that could never be repeated. What most people didn't know was that backstage, Jin had whispered to a staff member, his voice soft, almost like a dream. "I'm afraid tonight is too beautiful, because maybe I won't be able to recreate it again." And yet, that was exactly where the magic lived. ARMY didn't come for perfect beauty. They came for Jin, the vulnerable one, the strong one, the honest one. The one who couldn't always hold back his tears. The one who didn't always know what to say. The one who simply wanted to make the world a little warmer. That night, after everyone had gone, Jin stood alone on the empty stage. He looked out at the vacant seats, then smiled softly and said to himself, "Thank you for waiting." And maybe, just maybe, those seats answered back. "We'll keep waiting, Jin." That night ended. But the story didn't. Armies went home with full hearts, cameras filled with memories, and Jin's voice still echoing in their chests. But some noticed something strange. There was no usual goodbye wave. No Weverse update from Jin. No backstage selfie from Jungkook. No video of Jimin dancing quietly in the hallway. Only one thing remained: silence. And then rumors began to spread. Jin and Jungkook were seen leaving through the back exit. Black car. No bodyguards. No lights. Someone spotted them at a rest stop at 2 a.m. Jimin wasn't with them. Armies started asking, where did they go? But the question wasn't where. The real question was why. A few hours earlier, Jin and Jungkook stood side by side behind the empty stage as the crew began dismantling the dream they had just built. No one spoke. Only the sound of footsteps on the floor and remnants of music still lingering in the air like mist. Jungkook turned to his Hyung. Their eyes met. And with the softest voice a tired throat could manage, Jin said, "Let's go." Now, it wasn't an escape. It was a search for something they couldn't find amidst the screams of thousands. 3:27 a.m. A black car was parked at the edge of a quiet lake. Far from the city. Far from the spotlights. Far from a world that asks too much. Inside the car, Jin rolled down the window. The summer breeze drifted in, carrying the scent of earth, water, and freedom. Jungkook sat beside him, headset in his ears, but no music played. Only silence. "When was the last time we did this?" Jin asked. "Before everything changed," Jungkook replied. "Were you ever scared?" "Scared that one day there wouldn't be an us anymore?" "Yeah." Silence again. But not awkward, holy. Like two people who knew that after all the stages, all the cameras, all the applause, what they were really searching for wasn't fame. It was closeness. Something that can't be scheduled. Something that can't be bought. Meanwhile, Jimin returned to his apartment alone. His eyes were puffy, his phone silent. He opened his photo gallery, stared at pictures of the 7 of them. Then a notification popped up. Not from Jin. Not from Jungkook. But from a fan site with the headline, "Breaking, Jin and Jungkook leave together after concert, seen at rest stop." Jimin closed his eyes. He knew they needed space. But still it felt lonely. The next morning. Still no update from Jin. No story from Jungkook. No statement from the agency. But armies knew. It wasn't because something was wrong. It was because everything was too right, too deep, too personal to be explained in words. They didn't disappear. They just went home, to a place only the 2 of them knew. Armies, do you feel like something is unfolding behind the scenes we're not meant to see? Tell us in the comments. If you could sit with Jin that night, what is the one sentence you would say to him? And if you could ask Jungkook just one thing about that night, what would it be? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because part 4 will reveal what happens next. Jin leaves a message that shook Jungkook. The RANJIN chapter isn't over yet. We're not done yet. Because this story isn't about a concert. It's about brotherhood. About loss. About the courage to disappear. Just to find yourself again.
Something that can make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous.